Okay, welcome to my channel. My name's Jared. This is another Sunday update video. I also post silent build videos on most Wednesdays, so be sure to check those out as well. Today, we're driving the Bushmaster. I finally finished this thing. I've had this truck for over a year. This is really the first time I've ever done any driving with it. It has run and driven for quite a while now, but the interior was never done and I hadn't completed the registration on it. So it's just now finally done. I finally got it registered. I can finally drive it and use it. So I'm very happy to have finally finished this project. Now we'll talk about how it drives. So this is a 1984 Nissan or Datsun, whichever you prefer, 720 pickup. This was a dealer option back in the day before Nissan had an SUV, and even before I believe Toyota had the first 4Runner. A dealer took a brand new truck in '84, they cut the top off of it, they put this fiberglass shell on it and a back seat in it, and they essentially made an SUV before Nissan ever actually officially had an SUV to sell. So it's a very unique vehicle. The name is also awesome, Bushmaster. I mean, it's just, you can't beat that. So anyway, that's kind of what this is. Now the question is, how does it drive? Well, you know, it's underpowered. It has a little 4-cylinder engine in it, and it's not a big truck, but I think even without this fiberglass top on it, it would have been underpowered. That seems to be something that they did in that time period in the 80s. This reminds me very much of a 4-cylinder Jeep Wrangler. I've had a 4-cylinder Wrangler before, and it feels just like this. That's why you should always get the 6-cylinder Wrangler if you can. But this is fine. I mean, this thing will keep up with traffic. It'll go up steep hills. You just have to be in a lower gear. So it's fine to drive, but it's definitely, it could benefit from a bigger engine. Now, there are ways to get more power out of this engine. And if you look online, there's, people recommending different carburetors, exhaust, things like that, to get some more power out of this. But because I'm in California, this thing has to be 100% stock. It's the original carburetor, everything's original and stock. It has to be completely stock to pass smog. So, it is what it is. It could use more power, but it's still fine to drive. It has tons of space in it. I mean, the back seat just has a huge amount of legroom because, again, it's a truck first, and they just cut it up. And because of where the bed meets the cab, that's where you need to have the seat, and so you just have a ton of legroom in there. It's very roomy. There's also a ton of cargo space behind the seat. You can take the seat out. It's kind of a fold and tumble seat, just like a Wrangler. So you can pull that out and you can have the entire bed of the truck plus the king cab section of the cab to haul things in. So you can haul all kinds of long and large things in this thing, as well as several people comfortably, lots of luggage. There's just tons and tons of space in here. So from that point of view, it's a great vehicle. It also has a very, very, very 80s feel to it. It still has the original Nissan stereo. It has kind of the square lines on the dash. It just, you definitely feel like you're in the 80s when you're in this car. So that's a very cool part of it. It also has the stance of the small trucks from the 80s, especially the 4x4 trucks from the 80s. It was very interesting the way that they would do their 4x4s. It was clearly a 2-wheel drive pickup, and then they would just jack it up really high and put big wheels and tires on it. They wouldn't actually make larger fender wells, and things like that to accommodate the larger tires. So what you end up with is this really tall truck with huge amount of ground clearance. Because when you sit in these things, it's not a very upright position. It's more like a car-like seating position. The truck itself isn't that tall, but there's a huge amount of clearance underneath these things. So it has that amazing 80s mini truck 4x4 look to it. And it's got the really cool grill on the front of it. I mean, it's a very, very cool truck. I'm really, really pleased with how it came out. If you haven't seen the build series, you should check it out. I mean, this thing was a total wreck when I got it. The engine was missing, and like I said, it has to be completely stock, so I had to find the correct engine for it, which took a very long time. You know, I've gone through it completely. I've put new brakes on it, rebuilt the engine, new axles up front, new wheels and tires. You know, the list goes on and on and on. I can't even think of everything that's been done to it, but it's just, now it's a very well sorted truck, and it's really great. I love it. I love the way it looks, and it's a real joy to drive. So anyway, that's the Bushmaster. It's finally done. I will now be moving on to other projects. But like I said, if you haven't seen the build series on this, you should definitely check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week, guys. Just a quick update video. But thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I do have some new projects coming out that I'm pretty excited about, and you don't want to miss those. So hit that subscribe button. So thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye.